Pollution is a term that has many different forms, but most of these forms are created by the hands of man. Earth is our planet and our responsibility to keep clean from these extremely harmful pollutants. I gave a survey before this speech and know that almost everyone has seen some form of pollution in their lifetime. Even knowing that we add more pollutants every day, we have lost touch with the reality of how important it is to change these routines before it is too late. Our environment has become humankind's trash can, getting closer to the point of no return with each passing day, even though simple changes in our routines could slow down the process drastically. I've linked my credits to my speech within my PowerPoint. During this presentation, I will explore the following points. I'm going to discuss the three main types of pollution, how this pollution is starting to affect the environment, and what simple changes we can make to help towards slowing this process down. So what are the three main types of pollutants? The first type of pollution that I would like to discuss is land pollution, which is solid waste that people discard, and it does not make it to the landfills that are dedicated to this waste. I found an article by Alina Bradford on livescience.com. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, in 2014 alone, there was a total of 258 million tons of solid waste produced by Americans. 136 million tons of this waste was gathered in landfills, and only 34% was recycled or composited. That leaves 122 million tons of waste unaccounted for. Some of the main pollutants that households generate are plastics and anything that is not biodegradable, including things that people don't expect to be pollutants, like diapers. The second main form of pollution is water pollution, which is any form of pollutant that makes its way into a water system, including but not limited to our oceans, lakes, rivers, and even aquifers. Based on my survey, almost everyone has heard about the BP oil spill back in 2010, which released 134 million gallons of oil into the Gulf of Mexico, according to the fisheries.noaa.gov. This caused great havoc across the Gulf and was one of the largest environmental disasters to date. Alina Bradford states in her article that some of the most common water pollutants are toxic chemicals, sewage, pesticides, and fertilizers. This also would include plastics that make their way into the water system. The last of the main forms of pollution I would be discussing is air pollution, which is when toxic gases make their way into the air that we breathe and even into our atmosphere. According to my survey, most people think that this is the worst form of pollution. The air we breathe is made up of nitrogen, oxygen, water vapor, and inert gases. When there is anything other than those elements in the air, this is air pollution. According to my survey, everyone believes that global warming is real. It is caused by something that we call the greenhouse effect. This is when toxic gases make their way into our atmosphere and absorb the heat from the sun, but does not allow it to be released back out of our atmosphere. This process heats up the earth slowly, but more and more each year that passes without change. Now that I've spoken about some of the three main forms of pollution, I would like to explore some of the consequences that our environment suffers from because of these pollutants. How this pollution is starting to affect our environment. Sea animals get into plastic that they cannot digest and are able to get stuck in. According to 5gyres.org, which is an organization that is trying to slow down the plastics consumption across the world, they say that 1,200 species are impacted by plastic, though through ingestion or entanglement. These include animals like birds, fish, turtles, dolphins, sharks, and even whales. They will get exposed to some form of plastic and either ingest it, which causes the plastic to stay in their system, or get entangled in it and they lose function of whatever is stuck in the plastic. Both scenarios cause the animal to either die or make its way back to us, and we end up consuming it. Global warming and the effects it has on weather patterns, which in part also affects animal behavior. I visited a website called ifaw.org, which explains the importance of the awareness of global warming affecting the animals around us. Global warming has caused more intense hurricanes, extremely hard to put out wildfires, and extensive droughts. These all have built up massive casualties between both wildfire and humans. If we continue to add these greenhouse gases into our atmosphere, we are guaranteeing the extinction of some of the most vulnerable species, including ones like different species of whales, bacteria, which could affect the whole food chain, and pushing birds into environments that they are not accustomed to from their migrations. Now that I've spoken about the effects pollution has on the environment, I'll explain how you can make a little change in your routine that can help slow down the pollution in the environment. What simple changes can we make to help slow down this process? One of the simplest changes that you can make is going plastic free. According to 5diaries.com, going plastic free is one of the simplest ways to counter these pollutants. Getting a reusable water bottle would eliminate a huge amount of your personal plastic use. Saying no to plastic bags at the grocery store also helps the environment because less plastic will be produced if there isn't a demand. Through my survey, I can say with the utmost certainty that we all despise the use of paper straws because nobody likes the texture and drinking soggy paper from their drinks. Though this is an effort that didn't quite hit the mark, it shows that there is an effort to push for a greener earth. Grab some gloves and pick up some trash in your community. I did some research on how people can make an impact in North Carolina because you got to start somewhere if you want to make a difference. And I found something called Clean and Green on ncwf.org that is a website dedicated to helping organize ways for you to get involved in picking up the litter that is killing our wildlife and polluting our waters. If you go around your neighborhood and just pick up half a bag of trash, you're already slowing down the annual waste that builds up over time. And according to my survey, most of you believe that recycling and spreading awareness are the best ways to combat this issue. Lastly, I would like to bring up being involved in the environmental laws that we are able to vote for will help lower the greenhouse gas emissions allowed at any given time. This would slow down the rate of our Earth's deterioration exponentially. To sum it all up, there are many forms of pollution that are harming our planet, but both environmentally and physically. Knowing that these are ways to help slow down the path of destruction created by man, I would love to see some of you take a bit of charge and change something in your normal routine to help the fight for our planet. In this speech, I discussed the three main forms of pollution that greatly affect our planet, what the pollutions are doing to our environment/wildlife, and some simple things you could do to help prevent some of these forms of pollutants. From my survey, most of you believe that individuals can help make change, and it is not just on the companies to stop pollution from growing. So if you believe that we can make a difference, why are we waiting to do so? To make a difference on the war between our planet and the enemy we call pollution, make sure that there are changes being made to your routine, and you will ultimately conquer the battle and put Earth back on top. Thank you.